The Tennessee Titans are a team that are built to win a Super Bowl in the 90s. They are a team that is defensive-led. They've got an offense led by their running game. The Titans quarterback, Ryan Tannehill, is going to be back healthy. That's awesome, I guess. I mean, he missed 5 games last year. Tennessee lost 7 games at the end of last year. They went from 7-3 to 7-10. It's a big loss. But the makeup of this team concerns me. They've got focuses in the wrong stuff. Like, are you building a team around your running back in 2023? It's a passing league. Now, they did add receiver DeAndre Hopkins. He's really good. A big question mark is their number 2 receiver, Treylon Burks. He's a guy who was a former first-round pick last year, was supposed to replace A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown got traded to Philly, went off, had an amazing year, made Howie Roseman, the general manager in Philly, look like a genius, and Treylon Burks did next to nothing. He had 33 catches, 1 touchdown, played in only 11 games, had a toe injury. Maybe having DeAndre Hopkins on the roster, by the way, is going to help Treylon Burks. It's going to give him better matchups, and playing against the number 2 corner is going to be good for him. I'm not sure. But regardless of DeAndre Hopkins and Derrick Henry, their running back, the offensive line is a concern in Tennessee. Their right tackle is suspended for 6 games for gambling. Their offensive line was a disaster last year, and it's going to be worse early in the year. It doesn't help, by the way, that in 2020, Isaiah Wilson, the first-round pick, was a massive bust. Like, didn't even make it through the year. That's a horrible, terrible thing. It makes me feel bad for Titans fans and, frankly, the Titans organization, because they drafted Isaiah Wilson thinking he was going to become a great player to help their offensive line, and it just was a waste of a pick. It's really sad. They did add a left tackle, Andre Dillard. Played against him in high school, by the way. Shout out to Woodinville High School. They beat us. It was sad. But he went to Washington State as a former first-round pick. Andre Dillard lost his job as left tackle in Philly, got beat out by Jordan Mailata. I don't know that you can really criticize or view Andre Dillard too poorly after losing the job to, Jordan Mailata. That's one of the best left tackles in football. He's amazing. He's incredible. You lost the job fair and square to a guy who's better than you and better than most left tackles in football. It doesn't mean Andre Dillard can't still be a solid left tackle. They're trying to help their offensive line. I like that. They added a rookie first-round pick, Peter Skoronski. Likely he's going to start at left guard. But I'm worried about this offense. I mean, one thing that was really telling was that it seemed like the Titans couldn't attract a new offensive coordinator. They couldn't bring anyone from the outside to come be their offensive coordinator. They ended up having to promote Tim Kelly, their former passing game coordinator, to the offensive coordinator position. That was a bit of a warning sign to me. It was like, oh, coaches around the NFL don't want to work in Tennessee. They don't want that offensive line. They don't want to work with Ryan Tannehill. They're concerned about the receiving core. I think adding DeAndre Hopkins was a big deal. We'll see how far that goes. I got concerns about this offense. I'm not going to lie to you. Now, on defense, Jeffrey Simmons is a standout defensive lineman. Arden Key came over from Jacksonville. That's awesome. My favorite player on this entire football team, Tennessee, the Titans, I absolutely love and hate their safety, Kevin Byard. I hate him because as a former quarterback, he's so dang good. I mean, he's a student of the game. He makes great plays. He reads quarterbacks' eyes really well. He's just got some high-level interceptions I've watched over the years. I really, really admire and respect Titan safety Kevin Byard. I think he's massively underrated. I think he's a brilliant football player I would not want to play against. But we got to drop the hammer here. I believe the Tennessee Titans are going to go 5-12. I know that's going to be viewed as a bold statement. I know it's going to make a lot of people angry in Tennessee. I apologize, man, but they're going to start really bad. The Titans play week 1 at New Orleans. Week 2, they play the Chargers. Week 3 at Cincinnati. Week 3 they play at Cleveland, and then week 4 they play Cincinnati. So Saints, Chargers, Cleveland, Cincinnati. It is very likely that the Tennessee Titans are going to start the year 0-4. And I worry that if they have a bad start, they're going to get impatient and make a move at quarterback and switch from Ryan Tannehill to Will Levis, who they drafted in the second round, or maybe they'll make a move to go get Malik Willis. I'm not sure. It's a concerning thing. I'm like, this team is already not great. Switching quarterbacks early after a bad start, because I worry that Mike Vrabel is going to have to do something crazy, throw a Hail Mary, make a move here or there to try to keep his job. And I love Mike Vrabel. It's not his fault. Mike Vrabel is a wonderful, wonderful head coach. A guy that, when I worked in HVAC, I had a boss who I really loved. He was a guy that had done it before. He'd been an installer before. One day we were on the job, and my boss came and we were behind. We're on a hill. Like I'm halfway up a hill trying to dig out a hole to place an AC unit. And he came and helped us. This guy who, it's not his job anymore. He's not an installer. And I thought it was so interesting that he not only came and helped us do this stuff in the hot sun, on a really hot day, on a difficult hill, digging dirt literally, and then we're like brazing metal, doing all this stuff. It really impressed me that not only did he help us, but he knew how to do it. He's a guy who'd done it before. Players love Mike Vrabel because he's done it before. He relates to you. He's different. He's not some boss that's never done it, never played football before. No. His players love him because he's played in the NFL. He played at a high level. And the best thing about Mike Vrabel is even when the guys he has aren't super talented, he finds a way to get the best out of them. A couple years ago, he went toe-to-toe with Kansas City, and the defense had no right competing with Kansas City. And that was the moment where, for the rest of my life, I will always respect Mike Vrabel as a head coach. If Mike Vrabel gets fired, he's going to be hired immediately somewhere else, whether it's defensive coordinator or head coach. I mean, he could find a job anywhere. I'm really convinced of that. However, doesn't mean I think he's going to win this year. The offensive line is a mess. It's scary. It's not great. Do you really trust Ryan Tannehill, their quarterback? Ryan Tannehill, that's the guy you're going to trust to win a lot of games and win the division. I'm not sure. He's getting older. He's coming off an injury with a bad offensive line. And the two best players on offense for Tennessee are Derrick Henry and DeAndre Hopkins. Derrick Henry turns 30 during the year. DeAndre Hopkins is 31. At some point, Derrick Henry's not going to be able to play at his high level. It's going to fall off the wagon. Maybe not this year, but it could be this year. I think it's likely. With a bad offensive line, he's getting older. I'm not confident Derrick Henry's going to be the best running back in the NFL anymore. DeAndre Hopkins, 31, coming off an injury. What's he going to bring to the table? I don't know. When he played last and was healthy, he played great. No, he's not. Sorry. Coming off a suspension. I apologize. That's why he didn't play a lot of games last year. I thought DeAndre Hopkins finished the year really well, but can he get the ball if the quarterback's on his back? Plus, how much does Ryan Tannehill impress you at quarterback? You think Ryan Tannehill is the guy to make DeAndre Hopkins look amazing? It's more likely that DeAndre Hopkins is going to have to make Ryan Tannehill look really good, and I'm not confident in the quarterback. It's a really bad offensive line. Got aging players. To me, this could be the worst offensive line in football. I feel like maybe I'm trying to convince myself why they're going to win 5 games, but it comes back down to, similar to Jacksonville, the AFC is loaded with really good talent. There's only so many wins to go around. The schedule is brutal for the Tennessee Titans, and I hope I'm wrong. I think they're going to start 0-4. You never know what happens after an 0-4 start. Teams fall apart. Maybe they respond and do better. Very unlikely they're going to go from an 0-4 start to making a playoff run. That's just ridiculous. And more than likely, I think it's possible that ownership in Tennessee gets impatient and gets rid of Mike Vrabel. I hope not. I love the guy. I want to see Tennessee steal some wins from the Chargers, the Ravens, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and Seattle. That'd be cool, but I don't know that they've got enough talent for Mike Vrabel to work his magic like he's done before and take a underrated team that's not got a lot of talent and help them overachieve. I think that the overachieving this year isn't going to happen. And if Mike Vrabel can win games with this football team, this offensive line, this quarterback, this defense, to me, he'd be coach of the year. I mean, if you think 5-12 is wrong, I want to hear you tell me why. I'm open to criticism. I'm open to you telling me why the Titans are a great football team this year, but I'm not buying it. And I've got major concerns. I love the coach. That's not enough for me to believe in this football team. I have the Titans going 5-12 this year, and they're not winning their division.